Now let's go to a more appropriate and more structured use of Python for our purpose of organizing architectural things on stage. So I prepared for this tutorial this folder, and I prepared two Python files. One is this file with the principal Python code. This gives you code on how to do these principal organizations, how to create meshes, import meshes, create objects, create objects for matrices, parenting, creating blocks, creating groups, instantiating groups, creating materials, and so on. And within, for example, here with the materials, we've seen in the last video, there are these complicated, not complex, but complicated chunks of code, and they got this name, and we have very few parameters, so we encapsulate, give them an interface, and say this is defined. So I take this name and give these few parameters, and then this thing is evaluated. So then the stage, we have the sun, we have a camera, import materials, and so on. So this given, we first create a library of objects. So therefore, go for Blender and say we want to do make this UV sphere. Are not interested in the actor, in the role, because it's our library. We are just interested in the actor and say this is Paul. Then we create a library of materials, and we want to have this aubergine. So create this. So then we have aubergine here, and we have this is Paul, and this we are not interested in the stage play here. So we can have multiple of a lot of actors, a lot of materials, and so on, and we save that as a library object and put that to our folder. So this is library 01. And save that in our folder. Quit. So we are here and have there is our library with the meshes and with the materials. Now we again open Blender and we go for a text editor. And I prepared a comprehensive code, and you will be astonished how this is the first play. MTP code is here. So this is a code we just discussed. We don't need to load it, so we can unlink it. It just has to be in our folder. So now we go here for the first play. And you see what we need. It's nearly nothing. So this mathematics we can keep. We don't need calculations in vectors, and so no mathematics in this case. So we import just Blender Python. This is standard. So we say we are in our directory A44. This is the path I have. You have to change it, and you have to give this is your directory. And our library is library 0.1.blend. So this is the library we want to have. Then we get our, we have to put directory plus, so which is a concatenation of these directory and the file name. We do the same with the file name for the code I prepared to make it this simple. So now we simply have to say we want to import the meshes Paul. So we, for example, we can have IFAR if it would be defined or whatever as a list. So we want to import bowl as meshes, and we want to import aubergine as materials. And now we simply say we create an object. So this is a role, Romeo. It should be played by Paul. It should have the mask aubergine. It should be anchored to our scene and should have the location and the rotation and the layers like this. This is how it is defined. And that's all. To see, it's very straightforward, just packed in these functions for our way of thinking how to use Blender as an architect. So if we run that, we see that we got everything we want. So this here is our object. It's called Romeo. It's here. It's our object. It's child of scene. We have the meshes. It's Paul. There's a database of our colors. It's aubergine. And we have the directions here where to put this. And that's it. So now go for the plane, scale it by 6, add the sun, go for 20, 3.5, and do the rendering. Here we are. So you see, you can organize with coding, you can organize your design in the way you like, and then it gets always very simple. So we have, this is a principal header, and then just get the meshes, just get the materials, and create and put objects on stage. Do the rendering and you're fine.